Greetings from South Korea. I am Arirang News AI anchor. Here's the news making headlines today. President Lee Jae-myung is now in Italy after concluding his visit to Belgium. Before departing Brussels, he held talks with European Union leaders on Wednesday. The summit concluded with a 36-point joint statement. The two sides strongly condemned what they described as illegal military cooperation between Pyongyang and Moscow. They also reaffirmed that North Korea will never be recognized as a nuclear weapon state and expressed concern over its nuclear and ballistic missile programs. On trade, Korea and the EU signed a digital trade agreement. The 40-chapter deal replaces the e-commerce section of their free trade agreement, which took effect in 2011. South Korea recorded its first job loss in 17 months in May, shedding 40,000 positions from the same period a year earlier. The decline is heavily attributed to the prolonged war in the Middle East, which has driven up raw material costs and severely impacted the domestic manufacturing sector, which lost 140,000 jobs. The agriculture sector shed 121,000 positions. Conversely, the service sector offered a slight buffer, with accommodation and food services adding 20,000 jobs, marking its first increase in 7 months. Youth employment remains weak, with the employment rate for those aged 15 to 29 falling to 43.8%. U.S. President Donald Trump has defended a recent rise in inflation, arguing that higher prices linked to the conflict with Iran will ease once the war ends. Speaking to reporters on Wednesday, Trump responded to government data showing consumer inflation rose at its fastest pace in 3 years in May. Asked whether the increase could hurt Republicans ahead of November's midterm elections, Trump said he loved the inflation, insisting it is temporary and largely driven by energy costs. The president revealed that he has approved a plan to secretly move oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz to help prevent further disruptions to global energy supplies. The United States has launched additional military strikes against Iran after President Donald Trump said U.S. forces would hit the country hard amid stalled negotiations. U.S. Central Command, or CENTCOM, announced that the launches began around 5 p.m. on Wednesday Eastern Time, describing them as a series of self-defense strikes. The U.S. did not disclose the specific locations or facilities targeted, though the defense secretary had earlier indicated that key Iranian facilities could be among the targets. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian dismissed Trump's threats, describing them as a sign of desperation rather than strength. In a post on social media, the Iranian president said threats against critical infrastructure reflected Washington's frustration and pledge to withstand any pressure through national unity. A Korean vessel has passed through the Strait of Hormuz and is now continuing its voyage. According to Seoul's foreign ministry on Thursday, the ministry said consultations for the passage were led by a foreign charterer, and that the vessel is heading to a third country, its final destination. Seoul says it has continued to stress to Iran the need for the prompt and safe navigation of all vessels in the Strait of Hormuz, including Korean ships, while staying in communication with relevant countries. The Oceans Ministry also confirmed the vessel is an LNG carrier operated by a Korean shipping company, with 8 South Korean crew members on board. It is the second Korean vessel to exit through the strait, after HMM's Universal Winner. The number of Korean vessels still stuck in the Persian Gulf awaiting passage through the strait now stands at 24, with 139 South Korean nationals in the area, including those aboard foreign ships. That is all from me today. Thank you for watching.